Shedeur Sanders walked into that Cleveland Browns press session wearing more than just a team-issued hoodie and cleats. He was carrying away a legacy, the burden of media expectation, and a target painted on his back not by his teammates, but by a media apparatus all too familiar with undermining confident young black quarterbacks. If you're into the real story and all the messy twists they don't show on highlight reels, go ahead and subscribe. And if you're sticking around to see how this Browns QB chaos plays out, you should definitely be subscribed. The moment veteran reporter Mary Kay Cabot posed that now infamous question about his father Deion Sanders' health during what was meant to be a football Q&A wasn't just a lapse in journalistic professionalism, it was a test. And Sanders passed it with a level of composure most veterans never master. This was more than a press conference. It was a crystallization of a quiet war happening in professional sports, between a media class that has historically defined athletes' narratives and a new generation of players who are no longer willing to let that happen without a challenge. What's powerful about this moment is how Shedeur didn't rise to the bait. He didn't give the media the volatile black athlete soundbite they were angling for. Instead, he delivered something far more disruptive, calm, controlled, and a pivot back to the only thing that mattered: football. This moment became a mirror for the NFL's long-standing discomfort with outspoken or self-possessed black quarterbacks. The media machine, for all its evolution, still functions within a framework that favors certain archetypes: quiet, humble, obedient, and often views confident young black men through a lens of suspicion. Sanders, with his pedigree, social presence, and unapologetic ambition, doesn't fit that mold, and that makes some people uncomfortable. But here's the thing, they're going to have to get used to it, because Sanders is not just playing the quarterback position. He's redefining what it means to lead a franchise in this new era of athlete empowerment. He's not just fighting for a starting job in Cleveland. He's fighting for ownership of his story. The fallout from that press conference proved that Sanders has a growing army behind him. Fans, former players, analysts, and media figures who are no longer content to let these moments pass quietly. Ryan Clark's immediate response on ESPN, calling out the racial undertones in Cabot's line of questioning, wasn't just commentary, it was validation. And it marked a shift in the balance of power. Players like Sanders are no longer isolated when media attacks come. The ecosystem around them, social media, podcasts, player-run platforms, now functions as a protective and amplifying force. Every attempt to diminish or derail a narrative can now be instantly challenged, dissected, and reversed. That's what happened here. What could have been used as a gotcha moment to label Sanders as emotional or distracted instead became a highlight reel of poise, restraint, and leadership. And that leadership isn't just theoretical. It's showing up every day on the practice field. Teammates have taken notice, not just of his arm strength or his command of the playbook, but of his demeanor. He's the first one on the field, the last to leave. He's holding private film sessions. He's dapping up defensive linemen after tough reps. He's speaking up in offensive meetings. He's even stepped in during interviews to back up veteran teammates, deflecting negative attention and showing a level of locker room diplomacy that takes most players years to figure out. What we're watching is a slow but undeniable emergence of a franchise quarterback, not just in title, but in presence. And Cleveland, a city-long star for a consistent leader at the quarterback position, might finally have found one, not in the traditional way, not in the mold of some former top pick who arrives with bow on top, but in the form of a fifth rounder with a chip on his shoulder and the pedigree of royalty. The media tried to poke holes in his foundation. What they uncovered instead was steel. And it's not just about toughness, it's about vision. Sanders has always played the long game. From the moment he committed to Jackson State, bypassing traditional powerhouse programs to play for his father and elevate HBCU football, he made it clear that he was willing to go off script. He did it again when he transferred to Colorado, reshaped the program's visibility, and became one of the most watched athletes in college football. Every step has been calculated, every move intentional. He's not just reacting to the NFL system, he's navigating it. What's ironic is that the very qualities that the media tries to critique, his confidence, his media presence, his brand, are the same traits that NFL teams secretly crave in a modern quarterback. In today's league, Leadership is as much about owning the moment off the field as it is about executing a 2-minute drill. And Sanders, whether the media wants to admit it or not, is a master of both. That private workout in Miami, the one that scouts reportedly left saying, "We may have missed the next great one," was just the appetizer. His real proving ground is now the daily grind of training camp, the pressure of preseason reps, the challenge of winning over not just coaches, but an entire city hungry for something real. And he's rising to that challenge not by being loud, but by being undeniable. Meanwhile, the conversation around him continues to shift. Analysts who once labeled him as a project are now reevaluating their stance. Veteran teammates, initially skeptical, are starting to defer to him in huddles. The coaching staff, though still non-committal publicly, has increased his reps with the first team. And fans? They're not just watching, they're choosing sides. Jerseys are flying off shelves. Kids are showing up to camp wearing custom S2 cleats. Social media posts tag hashtag Let Shedeur Cook are climbing in volume by the day. All this while Sanders continues to do what he's always done, lead through action. The real test, of course, will come in those first few preseason games. When the lights are on, the pocket is collapsing, and the play clock is ticking. But if his response to pressure so far is any indication, he won't just survive, he'll thrive. Because Shedeur Sanders doesn't fold. He doesn't flinch. He recalibrates. And maybe that's the biggest lesson from a media incident. Control isn't about suppression. It's about direction, about understanding the power you have and using it intentionally. Sanders did that when he calmly deflected Cabot's question. He did it again when he smiled and said, "I'm here to talk football." And he does it every time he steps on that field and lets his game do the talking. What's happening in Cleveland right now is bigger than a quarterback competition. It's a cultural reset. It's a shift in what fans expect, what teammates follow, and what franchises build around. And at the center of it all is a 22-year-old rookie who's rewriting the playbook, not just for a position, but for how black quarterbacks can and should be seen in this league. Shedeur Sanders isn't here to fit in. He's here to stand out. And if the media still can't figure out how to frame that narrative, maybe it's because it's no longer theirs to tell. As training camp grinds forward under the summer heat, one thing becomes clearer with every snap, every whistle, and every locker room conversation. Shedeur Sanders is no longer just a storyline. He's a central figure in the Browns' internal evolution. Every franchise experiences turning points. Sometimes it comes in the form of a coaching change or a blockbuster trade. But for the Cleveland Browns, the shift might be happening through the quiet command of a rookie quarterback who has managed to turn doubt into fuel and adversity into leverage. Inside the Browns facility in Berea, the tone has changed. In past years, quarterback competitions were defined by unease and media scrutiny. But this year, as Shedeur Sanders increasingly commands reps, the atmosphere is different. There's no air of desperation. There's no panic about who the leader is. There's calm, clarity, a strange sense of order. Strange because it's coming from a player the media originally predicted would ride the bench all season long. Shedeur's influence, however, goes far beyond play calling and arm strength. Teammates aren't just impressed with his football ability. They're absorbing his professionalism. Veterans who've seen dozens of quarterbacks come and go are commenting privately that they haven't seen a rookie walking with this level of control since maybe Andrew Luck. Every team meeting, he's front row. Every practice, he's the first to arrive and the last to leave. And perhaps most importantly, he doesn't treat anyone as beneath him. That respect radiates. The offense is becoming more synchronized under his voice. Receivers are breaking off routes early to get more chemistry reps with him. Running backs are staying late to go over protection reads. And linemen, those always skeptical protectors of the quarterback, are nodding with approval when he calls out blitz pickups unprompted. What makes Shedeur's rise even more compelling is the contrast between him and the quarterbacks who have passed through Cleveland in the past decade. While many came in highly touted, armed with endorsements and expectations, they often faltered due to inconsistency, ego, or poor preparation. Some cracked under pressure. Some lost the locker room. Some simply couldn't evolve. But Sanders is already showing that he learns from mistakes faster than most make them. He doesn't repeat errors. He self-corrects. That's rare. That's coachable intelligence combined with athletic capability. And then there's his mind. Sanders' processing speed has been praised in closed-door meetings. He's able to see coverages pre-snap that even seasoned quarterbacks miss. Defensive backs have been caught off guard when he calls out their disguise before the snap. He's made adjustments at the line that even surprised the coaching staff. Audibles that weren't scripted but worked. When the staff asked him post-practice how he knew to make a certain check, his answer wasn't guesswork. It was film study. The psychological edge he carries is no accident. Growing up around NFL culture, absorbing strategy from his father Dion and mentors across the league, Shedeur was groomed for this. But what truly separates him is that he doesn't coast on pedigree. He grinds like he has nothing guaranteed. Because, in his words, the league doesn't care who your father is. They'll expose you by week 1 if you're not ready. And he's right. The NFL has always been ruthless to quarterbacks. And for young black QBs, the scrutiny can be even more unforgiving. Everything, facial expressions, body language, tone of voice and pressers is magnified. One bad quarter, and the narrative shifts from promising to problem. Shedeur knows this. That's why he's controlling the things he can. His effort, his preparation, and his focus. Some have compared him to Lamar Jackson. Others to Russell Wilson in his prime. But Shedeur's game is uniquely his. He's not the fastest QB in the league. He doesn't need to be. His pocket mobility is subtle, calculated, and efficient. He moves just enough to reset his platform and deliver clean throws. His footwork is precise, his release quick, and his deep ball. Well, ask the Browns secondary about that. They've been burned more than once during practice when they thought they had coverage locked down, only to watch a 45-yard spiral drop into the arms of a streaking receiver. But for every highlight, there's also a correction. Sanders is brutally honest with himself. He'll walk off the field frustrated over a check down he took too late. He'll dissect his own tape long after the coaching staff's meeting has ended. This isn't about ego. It's about legacy. Shedeur knows that every practice, every rep, is a brick in the foundation he's building. Not just for a season, but for a decade-long career. Yet the pressure continues to mount. The fans have noticed. The media may be split, but the dog pound is slowly unifying around Sanders. Chants during open practices, fan-made signs calling for him to start, a petition circulating online asking Stefanski to give him real game reps. And while the team won't say it publicly, those preseason games coming up, they're now under a microscope. A couple of strong drives could accelerate the timeline. A couple of rookie mistakes could confirm the coaching staff's caution. And that brings us to the real tension. What happens next? Joe Flacco, the seasoned vet, has the experience. Kenny Pickett has something to prove. Dylan Gabriel is still developing. But Sanders, he has momentum. And momentum in the NFL is a dangerous, beautiful thing. It shifts opinions, alters plans, and sometimes, even when a team insists on a safe route, it forces them to take a leap of faith. Some inside the building already believe the Browns will have no choice but to give Shedeur meaningful snaps by week 6, if not sooner. Not because of marketing, not because of pressure, but because he'll simply be too good to keep off the field. But he's not thinking about that, at least not outwardly. In interviews, Shedeur keeps it measured. I'm here to help the team win. Whatever that looks like, I'm ready. He says it without flinching, without signaling frustration or overconfidence. That's his strength, his ability to remain unshaken by the circus around him, even when the media spins stories. Even when the camera lights hit, even when the crowd roars or boos or questions, he just gets back to work. And maybe that's the legacy he's writing. Not as the son of a legend, not as a guy who got overlooked in the draft, not even as Cleveland's future, but as a blueprint, a roadmap for what the next generation of quarterbacks should look like. Smart, prepared, unshakable. So as the sun sets on another grueling day of training camp, and the players trickle out to recovery in ice baths, Shedeur stays behind. Helmet off, eyes on the tablet, watching the last few reps he took, rewinding, fast-forwarding, making mental notes. The